Why do Canadians want me to produce a meaningless financial forecast? That's a question I hear a lot. Click here the subscribe button, set up the alert. If the content is useful, let us know by clicking the like button. So this question, it's like almost every entrepreneur I've ever met, especially in smaller businesses, they end up believing that producing a financial forecast is a useless exercise. But they see a lot of people in Canada requiring that from them. So let's see why there is a reluctance to formalize a budget. Entrepreneurs rarely like this exercise for a few reasons. Some people see it as futile, useless, because what they say is like, well, why am I going to put some numbers in a spreadsheet? They're going to be all wrong anyways. Yes, life is going to be different. There's going to be unexpected things that are going to happen. The other thing is there's a perception that producing a forecast is going to be too much work. Oh my God, it's going to be a lot of effort. It's hard. It's going to be very time consuming. The third thing that people have in mind when they think about producing a financial forecast is like they have actually a fear of having their feet held to the fire. It's like, well, this is going to be used against me to get me in trouble. If the numbers are wrong, then people are going to pull the number and say that I lied or whatever. So people don't like to formalize these numbers, let me put it this way. And in places and times of high volatility, let's say, especially if these entrepreneurs in Canada, they lived through this type of situation of volatility in the past, they have been trained that in places of high volatility, in places and times of volatility, actually the windows of opportunity open and close very quickly. So the time that you spend preparing a budget, a forecast, it's an opportunity you're missing, because if the window of opportunity is open, you should go and seize the day, seize the opportunity, and if you're too theoretical writing a forecast, then you're missing out the opportunities. There's all these reasons why entrepreneurs rarely like this exercise of doing a financial forecast, right? And there's this tendency of recycle something and just adapt it from the past, right? So, okay, let's just take something we have. Okay, just update that one there and whatever, just the numbers, and just like throw something from the number. Like, especially if people already had some type of success in another country, they will take the financial numbers from the country of origin and they say, yeah, let's say that's the same thing is going to be here. Yeah, our business in Canada is going to be, my first year there in Brazil, it was like whatever, 10% of the size, so I'm just going to multiply by whatever. So there's this tendency just to use something and recycle it to create the new one. And then there's that question. People say, but why people keep bothering me? Why do they want this, what they call the work of fiction? It does not make sense to ask. Why are they asking me this, right? The paper accepts everything. I can just put anything I want on paper, and there's too much uncertainty anyways. It all depends on the progress. Oh, how do I know how much I'm going to spend on this and that? It depends on how many clients I get. How do I know how many people I'm going to hire 12 months from now? It depends on what happens in the first semester and all this kind of stuff. Well, we have here our platform called Your Business in Canada. What we do in the platform is very similar to what we're doing here, which is we start from a very true real life situation and we dig deeper to see what are the roots of it and then what we can do about it. What we're going to do, come on board our platform, Your Business in Canada, and we're going to be by your side in your journey to build success in Canada, and you're going to be joined by colleagues that are also business owners that are in the same path as you. And this is the process, right? So what's really behind this request when somebody wants a financial forecast from you? I mean, people are not stupid. They know things change. They know the numbers are not going to be accurate in the end. They know things are volatile. And so why do they still ask that? Well, my experience is that people see a well-prepared financial forecast. It's a measurement of seriousness. How serious you are. It's a way for you to demonstrate your commitment and your preparation. You're prepared. You thought about different risks. You took into consideration what you should do versus you should not do. you thought about how you're going to achieve the growth. You are budgeting for how much investment you have to make to grow into that number of market, right? So in other words, it's a measurement of how serious you are, right? That's why people want to see a financial forecast, because they want to know if you're serious. They also, there's a familiarity here, right? You have to be careful if your numbers don't make sense in Canada, especially that situation if you're taking a financial result from another year in another country and trying to apply what happened to your business in another country to Canada. You have to be careful, because don't emphasize the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish here, right? It's like, don't overemphasize that you are kind of chasing a type of client that's going to be very hard for you to actually acquire in Canada, because people are going to see through. Don't emphasize something, oh yeah, back home we don't need an office, and here suddenly you may need an office. So again, use your numbers from a different context here. You have to be careful about that. So what's behind the request is that they want to see something that's familiar. They want to see something, they say, oh yeah, I see, well, okay, it makes sense the way they are building their forecast. They want to see familiarity. They want to see that you're serious. And the other thing they want to see, they want to have a comfort, because very typically, whoever is getting the forecast from you, they're going to have to use this as a document to convince other people. For example, to give referrals. They say, if you're part of a incubator or a business association, and if you can show a forecast of what you're thinking to do, people are saying, okay, wow, they're going to be hiring X people, they're going to be selling as much. Okay, let me refer you to so and so. So people start to feel more comfortable to provide referrals to you if they saw that you thought things through and you put it in paper in the format of a forecast, right? And even internally, let's say if it's internally, you provide a forecast, let's say to your banker, and they have to convince their credit department to extend or to increase the size of the loan to you or something like that, right? So think of a budget, a financial forecast, really as a marketing tool. It's a tool to create trust, to improve the perception that people have about your business. It's a marketing document. It's a crazy concept, right? Oh no, it's a financial document. Yes, it is a financial, but it's also a marketing document, because you're coming across as somebody who really knows what you're doing, right? So what's a possible approach here? Well, remember that the biggest risk in any financial forecast is your top line, right? If that top line doesn't materialize, you're not going to spend the money on all the cost lines, right? So build the top line, though, with bottom-up evidence, right? You need to be able to defend that number. When people say, well I'm going to sell 200,000 the first year. Oh, yeah, really? Where is the business coming from? And how do you know? You need to spell out that number. Like, people are waiting for a grassroots from a bottom-up approach. Just don't throw a number because you think, oh, that's how much I'm going to need to make the business viable. Well, how are you going to achieve that, right? So build bottom up. And then for the costs part of the business, you can use Canadian financial benchmarks. And here's a link in the description. You can click there. And there you have a compilation on average of how a Canadian business in your sector, in your size, in your geography, what's their cost structure like. So yes, you can use your past financial results from your company in another country, put that side by side with a Canadian forecast, and then you make the adjustments. Oh, why in Canada they pay so much in insurance? I didn't have to spend that amount in insurance. Oh, okay, I understand. Okay, you know what? But I'm still not willing to spend all that much. So let me put, I don't know, half. Let me interpolate the number here. So you should look at what is that Canadians are used to seeing. Because if your numbers come too far and somebody that understands a little bit about them, they pull a Canadian forecast, they say, oh, these guys are just like throwing numbers all around here. They don't know what they're doing. Their numbers have no bearings in reality. So it's important to use this Canadian forecast, right? Use past performance from your own other operation if you have it, but then line by line in your budget, it's boring, right? We're talking Excel spreadsheet here or another system, right? Line by line, decide what it is that you want to adjust between the past that you know in your own operation and what a typical Canadian benchmark is showing you. So this is how it makes sense for you to produce financial forecasts. It's something to help you guide, to bring you closer to what is the Canadian reality. When you look at the forecast, you get that as a benefit for you. It helps you think through things before they happen. It shows people that you're committed, right? It shows people that you're serious. You give them something they're familiar with, and they become comfortable in referring you, right? So all these things can happen, right? So remember, this can be a marketing tool, right? A financial forecast can be a marketing tool for you. Use it like that, right? And there are 2 other videos here that are helpful in this topic as well. Good luck.